Hey, besties. Let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Man, I had an idea, besties. What if Shannon could work it out with Jim Bellino and they start dating? How about that? I bet you that I had that Alexis all looking dumbfounded. That would be the best get back ever. That would be the best get back. What y'all think about that? I know it wouldn't work, but I was just like, what if Shannon could get her little clap back? That would be the ultimate, okay? And Gina, you should have ate before you left because last year when Shannon had that party, not Shannon, when Heather had her party and she had all that sushi, didn't she say she spent like $30,000 on sushi and it went to waste? Oh, honey, she wasn't doing that again. So this party, you saw she had dib dabs, little bites, tapas, mini tapas. Heather was not playing with y'all. Y'all ruined her party last year, and she had a lot of food. She wasn't doing that this year. So, Gina, from moving forward, when you go into a Heather DeBro party, you need to eat. Because if I heard her say, I'm hungry one more time, and I got one more thing, Emily, you need to count your blessings and humble yourself. I didn't like the way Emily was just teasing Jen. You're not a child, Emily. You are a full adult. That girl had gotten married and had kids. She's divorced, divorcing, whatever, because it's a fad going on with housewives where these people, not just housewives, but the reality shows, because it's over there on Love and Marriage Huntsville, these people can't get divorced. Well, Mel and Martell did, but it's a whole bunch of people who just can't get divorced. Ashley from Potomac, and the list goes on. I don't want to get into that. But Emily, back to my point. Emily, you need to be cool because, honey, all it would take for you to be in her shoes is for Shane to walk away from you. Okay? And you better tread lightly because he's used to the big Emily. This smaller Emily may come with a whole nother attitude, and he might not like your little butt. You know, he might like looking at you, but your attitude is going to change because you have lost so much weight. So you better tread lightly, honey, because anybody could be in her shoes. I just didn't like the remarks when she got into the questions booth and they kept wanting it to be a money booth. And the whole maybe she can get her some rent money, some car payment money. There's a lot of debt. Girl, aren't you in a lot of debt? Maybe not, but don't tease people because it could easily be you tomorrow. What am I talking about, besties? Honey, I am here and I am ready to talk about another episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. This is season 18, episode 2, and it's called Rent and Reputations. Let's get into it. So this episode continues from last week. Alexis is doing all this deep breathing, trying to keep her composure, she says, as she comes back into the party from being outside talking to Shannon. And she just, and I'm like, girl, you got demon spirits. You're the exorcism. You are the devil. Okay, maybe not, but that she got you riled up like that. I think Shannon should be the one riled up. But anyway, so Heather and Tamara go over to Alexis to check on her. Do we need to call an ambulance? You deep breathing. What's going on? Are you about to birth the devil? What is happening? So she is just still breathing like crazy. So she tells them that Shannon just wanted to talk about the lawsuit. And it's like, Alexis, in Shannon's mind, you started the lawsuit by sending the cease and desist letter. That's in Shannon's mind. It cost her $300,000 to either pay him or to fight against him in the lawsuit. We don't know what, court fees, whatever, filing fees, all that stuff. So in her mind, she believes you started this. Of course, she gonna trip off of the money. We gonna trip off the money before the honey. So yes, we're gonna talk about this money. Cause Shannon threw in there, are you gonna pay me back my $300,000? Cause she was single, newly single, had 3 kids. That's a lot of money. A lot of people don't even make that in 10 years, whatever. It's a lot of money. Don't care who you are. So, and also what I remember when Shannon started to talk to Alexis last week, she said, I have a few things to say to you. A few. And that was one of them. I'm going to always check for my money, honey. She lost 300K. 300K. So in essence, in support of that, I would be checking for my money too, honey. Forget about John for now. So Alexis tells Tamara it's difficult to be in the same room as his ex. Oh, really? We can't tell because you show over there bragging about the intercourse and the this and the this, and you got the ring on. You happy. You just rubbing it in. I can't tell that you're uncomfortable and it's difficult for you to be in a room with Shannon. Looks like you're having fun. So Tamara says that, she felt bad for Shannon. And so when the news hit the blogs about Alexis and John, she reached out to her, said how, she felt bad for her and all this and that. She sent her a text. They showed us on the screen. And then Shannon's response was like, yeah, woo. So she kind of just talked about her focus. She can't wait to be with her daughters for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, we're talking about Tamara Judge now, aka used to be Tamara Barney. At the same time, Shannon noticed that Tamara commented on Alexis's picture of her and John when they first got together, So Tamara, I guess, liked the picture or hearted it. Maybe it was on Instagram. And then she had responded with the applause emojis, the claps. Like, yes, like she's all for it. So Shannon texts Tamara like, WTF. And so, honey, here go Tamara. Her response was, grow the F up. You can't make this up. Really, friend? Really? And I'm using that word lightly. Really, friend? Grow up? You try to, okay. But we all know Tamara ain't nobody's friend. So then we hear that Jen did move in with Ryan. And so then it tells her story to Katie. And so pretty much the kids were okay with moving in with Ryan. They just pretty much didn't want to keep moving again. And, they wanted to be stable. So they was okay with moving in with Ryan. They just wanted to be comfortable and stable. So Gina is telling Heather and Tamara how mad she is at Jen about getting evicted from the house that she found her to rent. And so, Jen is a little oblivious to this. So Shannon is going to the wishing wall at Heather's party, and she asked somebody, she was like, should I wish Alexis the best with John? And it's like, no, Shannon, you should not. Move on. As the ex, when you're in a room with the current, girl, you got to put your chest out, your shoulders up, and you need to act like you are not tripping and you are better off and boo to her. You need to be flaunting your singleness, your freeness, your recovery. You got to fake it till you make it, honey. Even if it ain't how you feel, you still got to act like it until it feels like it, okay? Then she hears Alexis over to the side talking about her loudly, oh, she this and she that and she that. And so Shannon tells her, like, lower your voice. Like she a kid. So then, Alexis going to this, oh no, she's not going to shush me. And then, she teasing her age. About she's old enough to be my mom. But they did a flashback when she was married to Jim Bellino, sitting at a table at a restaurant. Probably was the quiet lady, or is it the quiet woman? Whatever. So he's telling her, like, we're one. You're married now. We're one, and you're a wife, and you should stay home. So now she's divorced. It's been years, but she's divorced and she has found her voice, honey, ma'am. So she's like, that lady ain't gonna shush me. And so Jen tells Gina that they need to talk, later. They want to plan and have a meetup and all that. So at the question booth, Alexis asks Shannon, I think her question was, what's her friendship goal for the year? So Alexis says, she wants to ask Shannon, can they move forward, into friendship? And so Shannon whispers, I will never be her friend. Exactly. We can be cordial, but no, we don't have to be friends. So then Tamara gets in the booth, and her question is something about what would she like less of this year. And so she says that she would like her friends to stop talking about her behind her back. And then when she walks back to her seat, she looks at Shannon and throws up the peace sign. And so Shannon says something, and Emily was like, she talking to you? And so Shannon mumbled something, and she was like, she just needs to calm down. But going back to Alexis wanting to be friends with Shannon, so Tamara made a little slick remark and said, if you want to be friends with her, you got to stop banging her ex-boyfriend. And, it's just kind of like, here we go again, friend. And it's like, y'all are talking about this like it's a joke, like you guys are children. And like Shannon is not sitting here at the table with you guys. Like, just no regard for her feelings after you text her and told her how she may feel, friend. So, that Tamara, I just, ugh. So I like her and then I don't like her. Just on the fence, show me what you're doing and I can change my mind. I'm gonna like you tomorrow, I could not like you today, whatever. So I think so. What else happened? So she needed her to calm down. So then Heather had her it was a Heather question. What is your favorite piece of jewelry? And it's her first engagement ring. We see a picture of this huge rock. And she was saying how she didn't like it at first and she likes it now. And so then Tamara asked Alexis about the ring she has on that John gave her. And that's making Shannon uncomfortable, right? So she's like, oh, it's not a, so someone's like, it's a promise ring, right? Because Emily and them saw it. She posted it on Instagram. So she's like, no, it's not a promise ring. It's a promised ring with a D. And everybody's all confused, like, promised? And then Katie has something to say, the new girl, and I like her. She's here for the mess. So honey, Alexis says it's not the same as promise because it can mean promised in the eyes of the Lord. And it's like, oh. So Katie asked Gina, is she religious? And Gina's face just like had this big old disgusting look on her face. And she's like, I don't know. Now remember, Gina is hungry. So don't ask her too many questions because she's hungry. So she's like, I don't know. So Gina asked Alexis, so do you think you're going to marry him? Because, that's a big gift for a 2-month-old relationship. And so Alexis like, well, I'm not going to marry him tomorrow. And it's just like, okay. Shannon is like, you know what? She gets up. And you should have gotten up. You should have grabbed your purse and your friend and you should have left. Party's over. Thank you, Heather. Goodbye. So she gets up. And, I just hate how these women are talking as if Shannon's not sitting there listening. And Alexis, how are you feeling difficult to be in a room with an ex? You are gloating over all this John stuff. And, it's new, so we get it. She's excited. It's new. So Tamara runs out after Shannon to go check on her. And so, she's all trying to, with her, right? And so, Shannon says, yeah, it hurts. and thank you for asking me this question. So Tamara should have known some mess is getting ready to start. She should have known, like, okay, Shannon getting ready to get on her soapbox. So she thanked her for asking, but then she asked her, so like, why are you doing what you doing or whatever? And so Tamara's just like, taking no accountability. And why are you talking and all this and that? So she told her some things she said, and so Tamara's denying it. And then Shannon's like, Shannon asked, could they go out? No. Tamara tells him, well, I heard what you said about me. You said I was a horrible friend. I have a giant ego. And they're talking about the Tres Amigas tour and how it just disbanded, And I guess, Tamara's like, we cut it off because you and your drinking, Shannon. And Shannon's not taking accountability for that. I don't know. So anyway, Tamara's like, you said I was a horrible friend and I have a giant ego that needs to be shot down. And I think I'm better than everybody. And so she was like, no. And so, she said, we always have to plan the tour around your schedule because nobody else's life is more important than yours. And you was walking around telling people, thank you for doing the show. Like this show is all yours. And so Tamara's like, I just want an apology. She said this in her confession. I just want Shannon to apologize so we can move on. And it's like, what? I want her to apologize so y'all can move on. So Tamara denied everything that Shannon was telling her that she said. So it was like, oh my goodness. So Shannon explained what she and how Tamara made her feel while on tour. And she tells her, and so then, so they're like, no, we ain't getting along. And so, then Tamara turns it on Shannon because Shannon's like, let's go out and talk. And Tamara's like, no, you're a horrible person. I don't want to go out. Da, 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 da. Okay, well then bye. Right? So Shannon goes back to the table and tells her friend at the table, which Tamara said. And so the friend is being a friend, honey. She's her makeup artist too, I believe. And so she is touching up her makeup, putting her lip gloss back on. She's talking. And the friend is telling her, pucker up, and all that. And she's doing it. And Shannon looked good. Shannon looks good. Look like she may have had a little work done in her face. She lost her weight. She had on that Givenchy dress, those platform little Mary Jane heels. She was cute. Hair, had her extensions. Her hair was banging. She looked good. So kudos to the friend, because that's what a friend is supposed to do, Tamara. Okay, so then Gina says her reputation may be ruined. Oh, is this when Gina goes over to Emily's house? And so Gina's telling Emily about the real estate deal, and she lost $50,000 because, in the real estate world, if something bad happens, like the eviction, hold on, y'all, because these names, it's so many names, so many people on this show. So Gina, she's a realtor, new realtor now. So she got Jen the house she's renting. Jen is getting evicted because the landlord would send emails to Jen and CC Gina. So Gina was trying to get a deal done. It was a cash offer, $50,000, and the other realtor did not text Gina back because that kind of stuff makes them like don't want to trust you with another deal. So Gina is like, oh my gosh. So Emily just assumed, well, maybe she moved in with Ryan because, where would she go? And they're all like, I don't know where she is. So she's like, maybe she is moving in with Ryan. And, because in Orange County, you can't just move into another place. They want credit. They want your credit report. They want financial statements. And Gina is at a showing now. And she does a showing to a couple. She was okay, but she's new. So she was kind of like a little pushy at the end. just moving forward, staying positive. And so the guy was like, "Ooh, you're a little pushy, huh?" Little, and so woo woo woo, they leave. I don't think they bought it because the lady wanted a bigger closet, and so Gina was like, no closet's ever big enough. I was like, that was a kind of a cute little comeback. So they're talking, and so Gina was like, Jen, she just needs to go to work. She's taking food out of my kid's mouth. And I'm like, well, Gina, Jen is taking food out of her own kid's mouth as well. So maybe she's not doing this to spite you. She's just, trying to get established. And when we and looking more into the episode, you can tell that Jen is kind of aloof. She's spoiled rotten by her dad, and she just, her idea was to be a housewife. She ain't trying to be the dynamic woman who just perseveres and get it together and get all these companies and make a portfolio. She's not trying to do all that. She just wants to cook noodles for her kids and ice cream and have ice cream for dessert. So anyway, okay, so Katie, Shannon, and Jen, they go for a walk, and Katie is getting to know them. So she's trying to connect the dots. So she's like, okay, so John is your ex, and he dates Alexis now. So she's trying to catch on. And so, was that Jen that said, I saw a picture of John, and he looks like he's happy. He looks younger. He look like he's aging backwards. So, child, Shannon gonna say, "Oh, he has new teeth." So, like he wouldn't smile a lot when he was with her, but she said, "Oh, he has new teeth." So yeah, that's why he looks younger and happier. And it's like, Shannon, he's happier because he's got him a new chick. She's hot. Now let's say Alexis is younger, and she's making him feel younger. But let's let Shannon think it's the teeth. Okay. So we learned that Katie has been married for 7 years. She met her husband because they're both were sports reporters. He was a golf reporter, and I think she said she was a travel reporter, but now they're both sports reporters. And so she says she met Heather. She's Sutton's friend, Sutton from Beverly Hills. They're friends. And so she says she's met Heather at her Christmas party before. And, she was introduced to Heather. I think Heather didn't speak. She just stared at Katie and looked away. So she was like, so Jen asked, like, how was Heather and Shannon after the party? And so Shannon's like, you never know how Heather is. You don't know if you're on with her or off with her. So Katie asked, who is Shannon's? Hold on, y'all. My notes are, who is Shannon's something? Oh, like who is her clique? Who is her crew? And so Shannon, this is Katie asking Shannon that. So Shannon says, I have great conversations with Emily and Gina. And Jen says she has to get with Gina because she got a little beef with her. And so she said, well, I don't have beef. I think she has beef with me. And it's like, you are so in the clouds, lady. She got you a place and you were evicted, but you don't think she should feel some kind of way. And maybe you don't know, because clearly you don't know. So yeah, you do need to go talk. But baby, wait till we get to that part, honey, because boy, Gina was on 50-1100. So she tells him about her eviction, and I'm like, I wouldn't tell people all about that. I wouldn't tell people that. People I'm trying to meet, I wouldn't tell that, not in front of Katie, but she's in the clouds. So she tells him about her eviction and how Emily found out about it. And she just doesn't know how Emily found out. So they do a flashback from last week when they were at the gym. It was Jen, Emily, and Tamara. And Emily was like, brought it up. So she doesn't like that Gina is telling her business. So Katie asked Jen, what does Ryan do? Like, for a living. And child, what? The answer. Oh my God, Jen, you got to get it together. So she's like, oh, he used to do real estate development. Okay. She said, what does he do? Not what did he used to do. So the building up the story is just pretty much saying he ain't got nothing going on because you're not answering the question properly. So she says he used to do real estate development and he used to do mortgages. But what do we do now? What does he do now? Is he retired? And she should have just said that. Oh, he's retired. He used to do real estate development. And then it would have been like, oh, okay. And so, so then she goes into, he just sits around and play in the sunshine. I like to tell him he's living the dream. No, oh, so they're like, so he, no office. He just sits around. Huh? So we go over to Katie's house, thank God, because that conversation just went totally into the clouds. So Katie's at home with her family, and we learned that she was adopted by a white family. She's Korean, right? Yeah. And so this white couple, can't remember where they're from, but they couldn't have children, so they adopted a white girl and a white boy. And then they learned about adopting Asians. So she said, I laughed when she said, they FedExed me to America. I guess she's from California. I'm going to assume San Diego area. And we'll get to that in a minute. So they adopted her. And so they didn't even connect her with her Korean roots. They never discussed Koreans, never had Korean food, never went to a Korean museum, a festival, nothing. Never went to Korea, nothing. They raised her as a white girl. And so her daughter is 20. Her name is Kylie. Kylie. And Kylie, she dove into her culture. So she speaks full Korean. She has embraced the culture. When they go out and have Korean food, Katie said Kylie has to order for her. And she said it's embarrassing. So her and her husband now, what is his name? I didn't catch it. Matt, I think. They have a 6-year-old son. His name is Bandon, not Brandon. Take the R out. Bandon. Got to figure out what that means. But his name is Bandon. He's cute. So she tells us she has 2 other sons. So she was married before. But I'm a little confused. I got questions for Katie. So Katie, so she says she has 2 other sons. One is like 14 and he lives in San Diego. He wanted to stay there to finish up with school. He has his life probably, friends, sports, whatever. Who's in San Diego, Katie? Is it your family? Is he with his grandparents? That's why I'm saying I'm assuming that's where she's from. Because who's in San Diego? Why do you have a 14-year-old in San Diego? So let's assume he lived with the grandparents. So she has an older son. I think he was 17. Excuse me. And he lives in Atlanta with his dad. Now I'm a little confused because Kylie, she said the daughter looks up to her husband as her father because her father abandoned her or she feels abandoned. So her stepfather is her dad. So she tells her, I was adopted and you're adopted and we're okay. So it's just a little weird for me if you had. So this is what I'm assuming. Okay, so she's trying to say she was married once, she got 3 kids. That's what she said. So your ex-husband is raising the oldest son, but he don't have a relationship with you guys' daughter. And being that the girl is 20, the boy is 17, the other boy is 14, I can't and I'm going to assume that maybe she had her, just young, and because she said she had her at her 20th, but she turned 20 and she had her when she turned 20. So she was happy not to have a teenage pregnancy. So can we assume that she had Kylie by someone else, like a high school boyfriend or whatever, a little freaky link, little sneaky link or whatever, and then she got married and had the 2 boys? Maybe. I don't know. And then they didn't work out because he never accepted her daughter. I don't know. But we got questions for you, Katie. We need more info. Okay. So Shannon, Emily, and Gina meet up to practice playing flag football because they're getting ready to have a game that weekend. Emily did it with her daughter. They had a good time, so she's bringing it to the girls. So Alexis is coming. They asked who all is coming, and she said yes, Alexis is coming. And Gina tells Shannon how proud she is of her for handling herself, at Heather's. Like, you did good. You didn't flip out. You didn't flip the table. And so Shannon apologized to Gina because she now understands what Gina went through with her DUI. And Gina forgave her. She didn't hold no ill will. Gina just said, bring it in, let's hug. They all did a group hug. I was proud of Gina in that moment because, she could be a little grudge holder. So then we move on to Tamara and Eddie. They're out on their motorcycles and they're out to lunch. They stop and get something to eat. And they're headed to Big Bear the next day because her granddaughter Ava is celebrating her 9th birthday there. So Ryan, Ava, the new girlfriend, they're all there and they're on FaceTime with Ava. She's outside in the snow. She fell. They're on the porch. And Eddie loves Big Bear and he wants to live there full time. But Tamara's like, no, I don't. I like being an OC sometimes and Big Bear sometimes. She was like, I'm not trying to be a mountain woman. So they talk about Heather's party and Shannon and being angry at her and about the Tres Amigas and about her drinking and about how she can't handle Shannon day to day. She just, I can't do it. She stresses me out. And remember when Shannon was drinking, she would call any time of the night and want to talk to Tamara all hours of the night. Remember all that. So this is where that's coming from. And Shannon's one of those friends. You might just have to set your boundaries, Tamara. Set your boundaries. So they talked about Jen and understands being broke and divorced, but Jen needs to put her big girl panties on. It's been 4 years since her divorce. And true, and she's like, Jen needs to make money, or she may have to move back to Oklahoma with her parents. So then we get to Ryan's house, honey, and Ryan's house is nice. It is nice, 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 nice. I can't believe what he does. Does he have kids? I don't know, but I can't believe he lives in that big old house by himself. So her parents come to visit, and they all are just telling Ryan, "Oh, I'm so thankful for you." And it's like, "Oh yeah, because of the money, because they tired of taking care of Jen with her big old almost 50-year-old self." So that she wanted them to come so they can see if the kids are settled in really nice and all that. So the parents appreciate him. She's crying to her dad because she appreciates and love him because he's been taking care of her. And they just looking like, well, what else are we gonna do? You're our daughter. We love you. And she just cried, thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you. Yeah, and moms was sitting there and they hug. It's like you guys are enabling her, and you guys need to tell her, like, babe, it's time to get a career. So Heather and Shannon, honey, they go to dinner. And baby, okay. Here we go. So Heather asked, thanks, Shannon, for coming. Thanks for coming. Da, 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 da. And so she acknowledged how hard it may have felt for her to be at her party because Alexis was there. And so, she was like, yeah, she was like, some talk was inappropriate. And yeah, it was. And so they flashed back to Alexis saying how she had intercourse with John twice that day. And it was just like, they didn't play it in the show, but they just added it in there. And it was just like, I thought this woman said it was difficult to be in this room with an ex. You are sure just acting a fool about it. You just rubbing it in. And so Shannon agrees that it was too much. And it was like, I wouldn't have went. Personally, besties, tell me, would you have went to your friend's party knowing that a guy you just broke up with, I don't know how long it's been, but let's just say they were together 2 months. So let's say it's been 8 months. Let's say Shannon and John had been broke up 6 months before he got with Alexis. So I say it's been 8 months. Would you go to your friend's party knowing that your newly ex's new boo is gonna be there? Would you go? I don't think I would have went. I ain't cut up for that because with Alexis, how she was acting, yeah, we would have we would have definitely fought, or I would have been just on her because she just too much, and nobody have time for that. Um, so she said that she agrees it was too much. So Heather asked her, "Should I have not invited her? Should we not invite Alexis to things?" And it's like, Shannon said that's what she would do. Shannon said that's what I would do. I wouldn't invite her to things that you inviting me to. So her feelings are hurt because Heather seems to defend Alexis. So in Heather's confessional, she says, "Well, I talked to Alexis way more than I talked to Shannon." Then she asked Shannon, "Did she tell Tamara to take her down at the last reunion?" And so Shannon's like, "No, but I was angry at you." So Heather says, "For talking about your relationship, and now you know that I wasn't." And so she was like, "I never repeated anything that was in the vault." And that means between me and you. And so Shannon tells her that Tamara told her that she was the one saying all that. So Heather says she has always been straight with her. Like Heather was like, "I've always been straight with you." So then Shannon apologizes to Heather. Oh my goodness, everybody's kissing Heather's butt. So Heather was like, "I don't want your apology." Girl, excuse me. She was like, I want you to just trust me and have a friendship with me. And I like that, Heather. I told you, give me a second, y'all. It's a lot of women in this group. And she was like, "I just want you to trust me and have a friendship." And she said, so Heather's like, Shannon, she said she has fun with Shannon. She likes Shannon. And so they agree to work it out. So that's nice. So then Gina, Emily, and Katie, they meet up. And Katie brings up Jen saying how did Emily know about her eviction? So Emily was like, "I figured it out." And so it's like, And so Gina says she posted it on Instagram. So Gina says she gonna mess her up. She gonna FUC boom her if she comes for her career. Girl, you ain't hey, you gonna come for it anyway. So what's the difference? So she said, "Girl, you just stop being girl." What she said? She said, "Girl, you just stop being." Oh yeah, this is me. Okay. So let's get into Gina getting all razzled about this eviction and how she's coming so hard on Jen. But has it Gina been broke her whole life? When we was introduced to Gina, 3 seasons ago, Gina been broke up until today. Gina has been broke. She know what it's like to divorce and be. Yes, she's getting her stuff together. Yes, she found somebody else. Yes, and how's that going? Aren't they breaking up? But anyway, you have been broke a long time too. It seemed like you would have more compassion for Jen, and it's just you just going off. And maybe it's because you can't afford to. You don't want to go back to being broke. Maybe that's where this energy is coming from. But it's still, to me, you just got some money yesterday. So Gina meets up with Jen at a coffee shop. Baby, y'all get ready for this. Whew. And she notices that Jen is all glammed up, honey. Gina did not appreciate that Jen came, makeup on, hair done, and Gina said she had on some new clothes. She said she wanted her to look broke like she is. I was like, Gina. Oh my goodness. So Gina asked, what did she do to her? And she's like, the situation, do you think I moved in to mess you up? And Gina said she doesn't think she thought about it. And so Gina said, oh, that was bull crap. That was a bull crap statement. And so Gina's telling her, when you sign a contract, you have to follow that contract. And she's all, this is my new career, Jen. And trust and believe, honey, this coffee shop was very quaint, right? It's people in the background, but y'all peeping at the people in the background. A dude was sitting there. He had to turn around. They smiling and laughing. They're trying to act like they don't see or hear him. But baby, wasn't Gina screaming at this girl? Did y'all notice how the how the waitress had to come over and give Jen her coffee? I mean, dang, Gina, you could at least bought the girl's coffee. You know she broke, but she was like, "No, ma'am." I would have had she looked broke, but she in here got her makeup on and got her hair done and got on new clothes, and I ain't buying her nothing. But it was like even the waitress had to come over. She fussing and hollering at her, and the waitress is like, "Oh my god, this is weird." So she puts the coffee down and she turns around and leaves. It's like, Gina, you are kind of embarrassed, and bring it down a notch. So, um, so Jen tells Gina, "Well, you was running around telling my personal business to Emily," and Gina said, "Jen, you posted it on Instagram, and you went on about she went out, you know." So then Gina goes out her way to say how she just helped her and this and that and that. She said, "And you burnt me," and Gina told her, "You know how you're acting is just pathetic. You need to grow up, pay your bills, take care of yourself and your kids. It's not your ex's responsibility, and it's not your boyfriend's responsibility." And it's just like, wow. Everything is true what Gina said, but wow. Wow. So Jen tells her she's acting uh very boo-boo-y. I was like, come on, Jen. Say something. You're just defending everything she's saying. You're not saying anything. Come on, girl. Get in the fight. So Gina says she is so upset by this. And she said, you called me and I helped you. And I'm trying to help you because you just don't. And I'm trying to help you right now. I'm trying to help you right now, but you just don't get it. And so Jen said, "Are you implying that I don't know anything, Gina?" And Gina asked, "Do you know about this?" Hey, come on, Jen. Get a schedule. Come on, Jen. And she said, "I do know. Me and my 5 kids were on the line and I had 48 hours to move." Gina was like, Gina said, "You don't want me to talk because you just want to hear because you don't want to hear the truth." Child, she said, "Jen, you need to wake up." Oh my God, you're not paying your rent, but you're getting your hair and your makeup done. Why aren't you paying your rent? And Jen says, this was funny. Jen says, "Just because my life is falling apart doesn't mean my hair has to look like yours did." But that was in a confessional. She didn't say that to her face. It was in a confessional, and production is so shady. They showed this clip of Gina's hair. There was a point where her hair wasn't together. You could see her hair versus the weave, and it wasn't it looked like a costume wig. And I was like, why did they pick that picture? And I do remember her with that hair. And that was funny. But she's still sitting at the table losing. Like she just don't have a skin in the game. So then Gina tries to explain the deal that she lost because of this. And Jen is like, you don't know what I'm doing to bust my butt. And so Gina was fed up because Jen would not let her talk. So, honey, Gina got up and she left that little old coffee shop, honey. She called her a joke. And then the thing about it is she's outside still fussing at her. She can't even hear. Gina's outside walking to her car. She still got something to say. And she's like, this is a joke. She's a joke. And then she did turn around. You're doing weird beep. And then you're doing weird stuff. And Jen said, you just no. Then Gina called Jen, you're just a ding dong and you're just stupid. And it ended. It ended. I think it's a to be continued. No, I don't think it was. It should be. And it's just like, oh my God. And she says something too about you're at the gym getting your threads done. Like, why are you not paying your rent? It's like Gina do not remember being poor, broke, and lonely. Gina don't remember none of that. She got out of it. She got a little piece of change now. Gina is fighting. She don't want to go back to being broke. And how dare you come for her and her new career? But that was the episode. Next week, Orange County has started off with a bang, and this was a bang. I'm going to rate this episode because Katie, they brought in Katie. That's cute. Um, they did a lot of going out. How many times did these people go meet to go out to eat this episode? It was a lot of going out to eat. But I like that Heather and Shannon agreed to keep it moving. Shannon and Tamara didn't get their thing together. We'll see how things go between Jen, Gina, and Emily. And we're going to see how Katie comes in and gets into the drama and what she has to bring to it. So, besties, tell me how you rate this episode. Put your comments down in the chat. And don't forget to answer the questions. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel and the community, and it puts you in line with other content creators that are doing the same thing. And I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, besties.